All right, so we got Bert Gordon asking. Currently, there are traditional kilts and utility kilts. Is there a secret third option that you've been thinking about creating? Should there be?
So a Frankenstein's monster of of kilts. I would actually push back at the premise of the question. There's not just two.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have utility kilts on one end of the scale, if we're gonna have it as scale, and then you have like traditional 8-yard wool kilts. You have hand sewn, if you want to consider that like the furthest down the one side of the scale. Then you have machine sewn 8-yard kilts, and you have top stitched 8-yard or 5-yard kilts. You have box pleated kilts in a medium yardage. You have acrylic kilts. You have polyviscose kilts. You have utility kilts with tartan insets. You have different types of utility kilts. You have great kilts. There's a lot of different types of kilts. So are there, kilts, some have pockets, some have sporns, or most have sporns. So there's, I think in the last 20 years, or a little bit more, technically 25 years, the fashion of kilts, not really Highland wear, because I consider that a separate fashion. These are different fashiony things have been done with kilts and kind of moved the center of Highland wear around a bit. Now, traditional Highland wear is always going to be traditional Highland wear, but the center line has definitely moved based on contemporary kilts or utility kilts or people that put pockets in their kilts or different designs and styles of kilts. Yeah, or yardages of kilts. Mac.
This was turning into a Forrest Gump and Bubba, talking about
the kilts.
Yeah, like the shrimp, like shrimp gumbo. Like we're getting into to all that. So
Shrimp soup, shrimp stew, shrimp salad.
but what so do you think there should be another option? Is there something out there in the world that
Is there
is
something
being
missing?
something missing that should be? Like a fiber optic one that you hit a button and it changes whatever color you want it to be.
That's not missing at all.
Or a reversible one where what's tartan on one side and tartan on the other side.
You can kind of do that with what's it called? Kilts with pleated the stripe.
You could, yeah.
Yeah. Depends on which stripe it's pleated to. Kind of. I'm not saying it would look good. You can do it. Especially if it has a lining up top, then you couldn't do it. But no, I don't think there's anything missing. There's tweed kilts already, and they're quasi historical anyway. Like they're historical in fact that they've been around for a long time. They're just not as popular. But I think playing with material to some degree is something to do, or just playing with the patterns and having more tartan patterns is probably the next evolution. The style of the kilt itself, flat apron in front, pleats in back. It's kind of set. People have played around with it with the utility kilts and things like that, but I don't think that's going to ever be a huge thing in Highland wear. So I think the natural progression for Highland wear is playing around with the pattern itself. So introducing new tartans, and playing with the accessories around the outfit. So maybe playing with styles of sporns, or playing with tweed jackets, or what you're wearing up top for a shirt and jacket or vest, or not jacket and vest, or things like that. That's kind of where I'm going with it.
Yeah, I mean, the garment's kind of been around for a little while. There really hasn't been too much.
There's been some evolution,
but where's it gonna go? Like there's different buckles, different closures, pleating options could change along the way.
That's kind of where you got my brain going just then was, where's it going to go? It goes back to where it came from. So we've seen an uptick in grade kilts. Mm-hmm. So more people wearing grade kilts casually. We've seen Now, we don't really do it too much, but I've seen like an uptick in box pleated kilts or other styles of pleating on kilts. So I think there could eventually be a little bit more of that. So more of a think of it more of as a cycle of now, these things were popular. The kilt evolved beyond the great kilt and it became the half kilt, then it became the tailored kilt. So where is there to go? Well, check out the old stuff. The resurgence of Victorian items
Yeah.
in the last 5-10 years, the Outlander effect, the Braveheart effect that we've experienced in the last 25 years or so, 30 years. Jesus, I'm old. It's all that kind of feeds back into the cycle of it.
Well, and that's where we see the tweeds and the weathers coming in more to play now.
Yep.
Seeing those rotate around, and I guess it's like you think of it in any other fashion along the way. It once was comes back around at some point.
Yep.
So
sometimes it shouldn't. I'm not saying I'm embarrassed of my Jenko jean phase, but it was there. Happy to leave it. But yeah, like 80s colors comes back in, 70s bell bottoms comes back in. So yeah, all fashion is cyclical. With kilts, it just takes a much longer rotation around that cycle. Yeah, cool. So what type of kilt do you wear most often? Do you wear utility kilts? Do you wear acrylic kilts? Do you wear more traditional kilts or hand-sewn 8-yards? Let us know down in the comments what your favorite type of kilt is.